Okay, guys, what I want to tell you is this is totally not motorcycle related. I want to share with everybody my experiences I had with my passed on loved ones. This is not an afterlife experience or like a near-death experience. These are experiences I've had, and they're real. With my family and my dogs. And I want to also say that I don't take any drugs. The first thing you're going to think, well, this guy must be on drugs. I don't take any drugs. I've been clean for 30 years. I don't drink. I have an occasional beer. I'm on high blood pressure meds, so I'm not doped up, and I'm not crazy. More than likely, the people out there that never had experiences, you're not going to believe what you hear. The people that have had experiences, you're going to believe. Now, I want to start with my father. My father was the first one. My father died in 1997, August 24th, 1997. That I'll never forget. The day he died, I'll never forget it. He died from a massive brain aneurysm. He had a brain aneurysm while he was driving on the highway on Memorial Day, May 24th. Now, I'd say it was about 1 or 2 weeks after he died. I heard our bedroom used to be on the second floor because my mother and my aunt lived on the first floor, so me and my wife lived on the second floor. And it was about 2 weeks after he passed away, I heard him at the bottom of the steps. And I heard him say, "Son." Now, I was sleeping when I heard this. It was probably had to been like around 6 o'clock in the morning. And as soon as I heard him, I woke up. And I had 5 miniature pinschers also. 5 little dogs. They also heard it. And as soon as they heard it, they started barking. Now, according to my wife, I was having a conversation with him in my sleep that I have no memory of. That I'm going to talk to you about a little later on after I'm done telling you the experiences. I'm going to tell you about how your soul is another person that you're not aware of. So we'll talk about that after I'm done. I've had a few dreams of my dad, but never like when I heard him that morning. And then my mother died in 2002. She died January 2000. I believe it was the 2nd or the 3rd of January in 2002. She died of old age. She died of natural causes. I mean, they can, today they consider aneurysm natural causes also. So, me and my wife lived on the second floor, and at night we'd hear the cupboard doors closing. We'd hear them opening and closing. So I left everything like it was in her bedroom. I didn't touch none of their clothes. I didn't touch nothing because I couldn't let them go. So, we'd close the cupboard doors, we'd close the door. Nobody was going in there. And in the morning, we'd go back in, cupboard doors would be open. And my wife swears she heard my mother also She swears she heard her a couple times. My aunt died. She died in October of 2002, October 25th, and she was 91. And I found her. I heard her fall, but she would fall a lot of times. And I was younger back then, guys. When you live with elderly people and you hear them fall, you don't care. I mean, I don't want to say you don't care, but you just don't. You figure, well, they're falling, they're going to get back up. They fell. And so, she would fall. She would fall a handful of times in maybe 2-3 weeks. So that night I heard her fall around 5:30 in the morning. So I figured, I'm tired. I can't get up. So I went down around an hour later. I hurried down, and she was laying on the dining room floor. She was blue. She was like a pale blue color. She was in cardiac arrest. So I called 911, and she died later on that evening around 11 o'clock. Now, I've had several experiences. I've had several very realistic dreams because she was very religious. I've had dreams of her. She would tell me she misses the dogs. I recently had a dream of her about a month ago. She gave me her phone number. She said if I need her help, just call her. And back when I was working with my father, I was around 25 years old, guys. I think I told you I hit my father. I punched him in the arm several times over a lousy $200 he owed me. And that was one of the worst things I ever did. I wish I'd never did it. But in that dream, I asked my aunt, could you please tell my father I'm sorry for hitting him? So these aren't fake dreams, they're real. The passed on people, they'll communicate with you in what you think are dreams. Okay, now let's get on to my Max, my Alaskan Husky. He died November 28th of 2021. I believe he had a brain tumor. I believe that's what he died of. Around 10:30 at night, I'm getting ready to go to work. I'm sitting at the dining room table, drinking a cup of coffee. My wife had, I think, a bowl of spaghetti with her. She goes in the bathroom. He follows her in the bathroom. She comes out of the bathroom, sits on the bed. About maybe 5 seconds later, he comes out. Bam. He comes out of the bedroom. There's like a wooden step. You go down one, so he goes down a wooden step. Bam, right on the floor. He falls on his side, starts having the death shakes. Which that's the first time I seen a dog do that. I didn't know what it was. Because previously, about 3 times, when he would lay down, his one leg, he couldn't get it to function. So that happened like maybe a month before he died, and like a couple times in between. He would be laying down, and you would hear him struggling on the floor. He couldn't get that. I think it was his left rear leg. He couldn't get it to work, and then it would work. Then he'd get back up. And I told my wife, I said, that night when he died, he had problems with the one leg, and I told her, I said, what I'm going to do is Monday morning, I'm going to take him to the vets. We're going to see what's going on with him. I told her, even if I have to put it on a credit card, we'll see what's going on with him. So he falls at about like 10:30 or 10:35 or 10:40 at night. He goes down, starts doing the death shakes. I pick him up. I put him on the bed. He dies about 2 hours later. Okay, now 2 weeks after he passed away, first let me tell you, he was like a brother to me. Okay, that dog was the closest thing I've ever had to a brother, man. Wherever I'd go, he would be right beside me. Okay, I dug him, man. I loved him. I dug him like no one's business. I probably walked 3,000 miles with him easy in the time I've had him. Now I also want to tell you he was either 12 or 13 years old when he died. Because people are going to probably wonder, well, how old was he? He was about 12 or 13 years old. Which that's normal for an Alaskan Husky male. And I walked about 3,000 miles with him. I walked on every trail. I've hiked every trail with him. We took him to the beach 4 times. 4 times. So about 2 weeks after he died, I heard him beside my bed. I heard it was his bark. Since then, even a year later, even recently, about, I think a week ago, my wife heard him. Because my wife thought, well, I must be imagining it, but she heard him. And we felt him on the bed. We felt like a warm spot where he was, where he died at. And when you touch it, you can feel this warmth. It's a very odd warmth. It's like a soothing warmth. It's like when you touch them, when you touch the warmth, you feel just so good. And so we've probably had probably about a dozen occurrences where we've heard his bark. And where he used to lay it on the bed, there would be a depression. Okay? And that's where the heat was. Now, my Max has restored my belief in the afterlife, guys, because the experiences that he has given me were the greatest experience I've ever, the greatest experiences with the other side I've ever had. It took my dog to do that. And now my wife also told me I carry on conversations in my sleep to him. What I think is I believe that's my spirit talking to him. Because the from what I can gather, your spirit is like a different part of you. It's completely a different part of you than your body. So I believe I was communicating with him in my sleep. I can't even remember half the stuff I was saying to him. I think a couple of things I can remember was I was telling him to go to heaven and just do what they tell you to do. That much I remember, but all the rest of the stuff I don't remember it. But I want to share that. I wanted to share this with you people out there. And if you're not a believer, get yourself to believing, brother. The dreams I had of my mother, father, and aunt, they were realistic dreams. Okay? But the occurrences I had, the experiences I've had with my dog Max were more realistic. Because I heard him and I felt him. There was one time when I would move my leg on my bed and I felt his body there. And you could feel like the warmth. So get yourself to believing. I wanted to share this with everybody. And I also wanted to tell you guys that I had one dream of Jesus Christ. It was in a grocery store, and I met him in a grocery store, and I dreamed of this. And in the grocery store, I'm standing beside him, and he reaches up for like a can of vegetables on the top shelf, and he showed me the can of vegetables. He said, I want you to help people in any way you can, he said something like, I want you to help people in whichever way you can. That's the only time I've ever dreamed of Jesus Christ. So, yeah, get yourself to believing, guys, because there is existence after life here, man. This is not all there is. This is only part of it. You know, this has nothing to do with these bikes. It has nothing to do with it. So, take it easy. I'll see you later.